I'm in Mozambique, in Kutada 11, 500,000 acres of prolific wildlife area, leased by Zambezi Delta Safaris and bordering the Marameo National Park. And in spite of exceptional anti-poaching efforts, meat poaching gangs continue to operate in the area. The poachers most commonly operate in gangs that usually number between 3 and up to, in some cases, 10 men. They're ruthless experts in their grisly trade, and thousands of animals die at their hands. Bushmeat, locally known as sengo, is a valuable commodity. It is estimated that between 30 to 60 tons of meat are extracted from the region every single month. The commercial bushmeat trade is alive and well. I've come to investigate the violent deaths that these poachers are causing. For the past few weeks, I've been on the trail of a particularly elusive gang. I've joined forces with Craig Vint, anti-poaching manager for Zambezi Delta Safaris. Craig runs a comprehensive team of men, and he's called for me to see what he has found. At 1.5 million acres, much of the area is completely inaccessible by road. To gain access, the team use off-road motorcycles to follow the game trails and footpaths that crisscross the area in a complicated maze.
Buen dia, Florent.
Buen dia, boy.
Amushe.
Namush.
Buen dia. Iniwana bonila lap.
Florindo, one of Craig's team leaders, explains that he's made a terrible discovery nearby. I wonder if it could be the work of the gang that I'm after.
Big problem, eh? They found a place where this gang has been. They've been there for a fair amount of time. What's obviously happened is it would sound like they've left a couple of days before. Further than that, I'm not sure. We've just got to go and have a look, but the description sounds pretty graphic. In the pansy. All the way through this bush, the last 25 minutes. Every single game trail, every single opening has got one of these wire circles of death. This is a cable. It's set in a noose. It's at exactly the right height for any medium-sized animal. Nyala and bushbuck is what it's for. And all that'll happen is that animal will walk through, it'll feel the wire, it'll leap, and that wire will tighten around its neck.
As we walk further into the forest, a grisly sight catches our eye. My name is Ivan Carter. I'm in a remote part of Mozambique on the trail of a poacher gang that is indiscriminately killing a large amount of wildlife.
This animal hasn't been dead for very long. We have just missed being able to rescue this one. I mean, this beautiful Nyala female has died for nothing. If there's any consolation, her struggles tightened this wire cable around her neck. The neck has bled a little bit. Her tongue's come out. She probably died pretty quickly.
I now understand why Craig called me here. From the perspective of a conservationist, it's a disaster. But from the perspective of an investigator, we may have stumbled on some valuable clues. We emerge from the forest into an open plain. They tell me to proceed slowly and carefully, and to watch my step. The gang has constructed a fence to better control the movement of the wildlife, and have used it to grisly effect. Poachers across Africa use 2 types of trap. The wire snare is the most common, using the struggles of the animal to tighten its grip and literally squeezing the life out of its victim. This particular wire is new, with barely any of the wear and tear that usually comes from continual use. and it's a sign that they have little need to recycle traps.
What he's telling me is that there's a gin trap here.
These traps are devastating to an unsuspecting animal, breaking or even severing a limb. Locally known as atuera, closing with a force of several hundred pounds per square inch. These traps are designed to slam shut and crush whatever's between their jaws. The trap is set and very carefully camouflaged, making it almost invisible as it sits and waits, awaiting the next unsuspecting victim.
In a local pele, what the poachers have done is they've come into this clearing, they've burnt it 3 or 4 months ago. Now with the fresh green grass, there's all these game trails coming in here. I mean, there's 6 or 7 species of game that would frequent this, and in the evenings the animals would come out, and so every single game trail has either got a snare or a trap. Thank goodness we found this one before an animal stepped in. I mean, this is a stout stick, and it literally shattered the stick. A big tooth has gone in there, and it's flattened this stick out. A large animal will step in this thing, it'll stick to its leg. It's a big, heavy trap. This thing probably weighs, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. If it's a big animal like a buffalo, the poachers don't even follow them. They're scared that animal will injure them, and the animal's leg falls off or rots off, and it dies a long, slow, lingering death. No wildlife deserves this.
The most devastating thing is the unchecked traps. Continuing to kill and maim, and yet left unattended, the wildlife that dies is totally wasted. While we continue to disarm traps in the area, Florindo comes by and informs that the team has made a vital discovery in their investigation. They found the poachers' campsite. My name is Ivan Carter. I'm in eastern Mozambique, where I'm on the tracks of a gang of meat poachers. I've just witnessed evidence of the destruction this gang is causing. The poachers are no longer in the area, but we've just found something else.
What we've found here is where these people are actually camping. We're just about 100 yards downwind. The prevailing wind comes from the east. We're on the western side of where all of this carnage has taken place. It's truly dark in here. Without this path leading in, there'd be no way you'd identify these people that are staying here. All they found coming out was bicycle tracks from this morning.
Bicycles are an affordable and effective means of transport in an area like this. Easily able to traverse the game trails and footpaths, the gangs use this mode of travel to ferry traps and meat. Though they normally travel under the cover of darkness, they can become complacent and sometimes even travel by day.
What he's telling me is that they've discovered quite a bit here. I just want to have a very close and careful look around to make sure that we don't miss any sign here.
Just like any crime scene, it's important that all clues are accounted for, even ones that are easily overlooked.
What he tells me is that these aren't available in any of the little tiny stores around here, that this had to come from a town. But there's a town to the north and a town to the south. This is a reedbuck ram. What they've done is they've swept around here. They'll do that when they leave the camp so that they can see if there's any footprints that they don't recognize. They'll know that they've been discovered. Bushbuck, eh? It's a bushbuck ram. They've been using this camp for a long time. You wouldn't find this kind of thing here if this was a new camp.
The size and age of the camp tells me that these are not subsistence poachers desperate for meat. These are commercial poachers, making money from their trade, and this is a sizable operation.
One of the greatest indicators of Poachers in an area like this are vultures. And so very often to stop the vultures from coming, what they'll do is they'll bring the whole animal in here. What we've got here is a couple of poles that they would have used to carry the animals in here. 2 legs tied there, 2 legs tied there and slung over the shoulder.
They will simply kill and process the meat until they have enough for a load into town, leaving their traps set, often only to return several days later when much of what's caught is totally wasted.
Big, heavy stabbing spear. These guys have got pretty arrogant. I think they've been here for a long time. You can tell from the skulls they've been here for probably a few months. That's a bit of horn there on this end. You can see the ridges of the horn. What they'll do if they come across an animal in a trap, they'll actually take this and just stab the animal to death. You can see it's got a very heavy, it's about the size of a broomstick. Nothing designed to be particularly humane, just designed to get things done. They've also left a water container. As beaten up as that may look to a Westerner, that's a treasure in the third world where it can be dry and thirsty. So a lot of sign of wealth here. Liquor, sodas, other bits and pieces that would indicate that these guys are a little bit arrogant. A lot of indicators that they're going to be back as well. And when they come back, we're going to have a little surprise for them.
My name is Ivan Carter. I'm in eastern Mozambique on the trail of a gang of meat poachers. The local anti-poaching unit discovered a fresh poaching incident, and we've located one of the gang's camps. The valuable items they've left, as well as the traps, indicate that the poachers will be back. But there's no way to know how soon that might be.
We'll be very careful to wipe out all of our footprints before we leave.
Commercial poachers will usually have many camps spread over a wide area. They'll bring back meat to sell in the local markets, and then head back to their campsites to restock on their illegal goods. There's no way to know exactly where or exactly when the poachers will show up. Time, as always, is the enemy. While Craig and his team continue to search the area for more camps, I head to a small village nearby. I'm here to meet a locally well-known blacksmith named João. Blacksmiths like João often use subtle variations in technique while creating their traps. These variations become signatures and can help identify from where and possibly from whom a trap originated. I've brought the gin trap that we found attached to the warthog in the hopes that he may be able to provide that very information. Formerly, he was in league with several poacher gangs in the area, supplying them with traps. He was caught by Craig's team a couple of years ago, served time in jail, and today works as part of that team. Today, he makes more money working with the anti-poaching teams than he ever made as a blacksmith. He agrees to answer some questions and even shows me how he used to make traps like the one I brought with me.
Wena bonili fanigaso, wena is kubane nenza.
He says he doesn't really recognize a trap made by somebody else, but he does know that it's not his.
So lo ipi ena pumili lo trap wena boganezolo.
He said it's caught many animals. He can see that the teeth are bent and they've been fixed many times.
He said he's seen many traps like this come from the north.
To the north. He tells me that as a blacksmith, this is where you need to travel to make money. A trap like this can fetch about 500 metacash, or around $15 US. With $15 US, a blacksmith in this area can support themselves and their families for over 2 weeks. That's a significant income. There is only one town north of us here. This needs to be my next port of call.
Here we are in this town in the north, on our way to the market. You know, to try and identify where the meat is going to is probably going to be a good way to see how these poachers are getting resupplied, where they're getting their traps, their wire.
It's a pretty industrial town. There's a sugar mill here. That means there's lots of jobs. Where there's lots of jobs, there's lots of people earning a living, which is good from one perspective. It takes them off the bread line and eliminates the subsistence poaching. The other perspective, there's more people with money in their pockets who can afford to buy meat. This is the largest town within a 200-mile radius. Thousands of people travel to this market daily, making it an irresistible location for poachers to sell their wares. If the bushmeat is being brought north, then this is likely the market in which it will be sold. We may not catch the actual poachers here, but if we can confirm that the bushmeat is for sale, then we will at least get an idea of the route this gang is taking from their camp to here. I'm told that in the front of the market there's a guy that sells meat. A meat shop seems the obvious place to start asking questions. While the Portuguese name for meat here is carne, poached bushmeat is widely known as sengo. I decide to try taking the direct approach to see if I can find any information or a reaction from the locals.
Carne, eh? Sengo?
No.
I ask him if he sells sengo.
No sengo. ¿Dónde sengo?
He denies selling any sengo. His face, however, is telling a different story. My name is Ivan Carter. I'm in a remote area in the east of Mozambique, on the tracks of a gang of bushmeat poachers. Following the grisly discovery of a poaching incident, I've left the local anti-poaching team to continue searching for more incidents, while I travel north to a town where I hope to find some clues.
Carne, eh? Sengo? No sengo.
The merchant denies any involvement with bushmeat,
¿Cuánto cuesta?
but his face says otherwise. However, my obvious foreign appearance precludes him from telling me anything, and I'm stonewalled at every question. I continue to the next vendor.
Cabrito, eh? ¿Cuánto cuesta?
What the man tells me is that they only sell pork, goat, and
No
calf.
sengo. ¿Dónde sengo?
no vende no mercado.
No vendo aquí, eh?
All they sell here is domestic fare. No bushmeat. I can't help but feel like they're telling me what I want to hear. Joao the blacksmith was quite confident that the poachers would operate here. Surely somebody knows something. Word travels fast in Africa, particularly in a busy marketplace. Within minutes of my first question, I'm sure almost everybody knows why I'm here. Perhaps if I continue asking, eventually word will reach someone that will help me.
¿Dónde vende la sengo?
Sengo?
No.
I feel sure that bushmeat is for sale in this market, but just not for sale to me. It seems I'm at a dead end.
Bom dia. No vende aquí, eh?
Sí.
¿Dónde vende la sengo? Sengo, oco.
Sengo ali à frente.
La frente.
Finally, some information.
¿Dónde?
This man claims to know someone in possession of bushmeat and directs me to another area of the market. We don't travel far before his colleague finds us. And he leads me behind the main street and into a narrow alleyway.
I've been told to wait here. Kind of 2 blocks away from the main marketplace, kind of maybe 60 or 80 yards. He says he's got bushmeat. It's just a few people kind of staring at me. I've been here for about 15 minutes now. Looks like somebody's coming through the trees here. Certainly looks like he's got a bag of meat.
The men look somewhat nervous as they bring forward what I assume is the bushmeat we are looking for. At first, they are more worried about foot traffic than the camera's presence. But after a moment, that suddenly changes.
Mina ifuna camera. No camera.
No camera?
Mina ifuna camera. No camera.
My name is Ivan Carter. Following the grisly discovery of a poaching incident in eastern Mozambique, I tracked the poaching gang to a town to the north, where I found two men selling poached meat. I quickly discovered that these men, in fact, are not poachers or even traders. They bought the bushmeat for their own use and offer it to me at a profit. I agree not to reveal him to the authorities in return for what I could learn from him.
Let's just switch off. If you guys can back off, let me just have a chat with them, see if I can find something out. Sorry, guys.
When they heard I was searching for bushmeat, they figured I would buy it at a premium, when in fact, I'm searching for its supplier. They told me that the men who sold him the meat would soon return with more.
What we saw was just a small percentage. He received that consignment of meat 2.5 days ago. That lines up exactly when we know that this gang left our area. He said he's got some orders, whatever that means, and he said that they're due to deliver on that order in 8 days' time.
This means that the poachers will soon be headed back into the bush to gather more meat. This may be our only opportunity to catch them. Before leaving town, there's one other place I need to go. The local village hardware store. I want to see what wire and cable they sell, and see if indeed it matches the cable we found on the snare line. A store of this size may be small and seem common to us in the Western world, but here it is a rarity. Indeed, this will be the only store of its kind for many, many miles around. This is what I've been looking for. It's hard to imagine that the small, seemingly innocuous wire can, in the wrong hands, cause such death and destruction.
This is exactly what we found along that snare line, exactly the same stuff. And you know, looking at this, looking at the size of this town, this is the only place you can buy that, which would suggest that these guys are buying their raw materials in this very shop and then moving down. For $8 a meter being 3 feet, each of these snares probably at least 4 or 5 meters. So you're looking at $30 to $40 per snare. That's not small time. In this part of the world, that's a giant amount of money. And you see the cost of the meat. They must be selling a lot of it to be able to afford this nice new cable.
It would appear that this store is unwittingly supporting the needs of this gang. I've confirmed that bushmeat is indeed being ferried north and sold here in this town. I've also confirmed that the poachers are using this area to restock on wire and other supplies. But where does this leave the investigation? Our mission began with the discovery of a gruesome and illegal commercial poaching operation in eastern Mozambique that is devastating the local wildlife. Through the stalwart efforts of Craig and his anti-poaching team, we discovered one of the potentially many camping sites used by the poaching gang to conduct their nefarious business. João, the local blacksmith, couldn't identify the original makers of the trap that we found, but he was quite sure that he knew where they came from. And indeed, traveling to the northern town, we've now found evidence that the poachers were resupplying here and selling their illegal meat. Now, although the poachers have yet to return to the camp we discovered, we know that they will return to the general area, an area which has been prosperous for their macabre trade. We also now know that their route stretches north of their base camp, which allows us to establish prospective footpaths for their arrival in the region. With this newfound information, I reunite with Craig and his team to formulate the next steps of our plan to catch this gang.
I think it's best that we have another anti-poaching group here doing roadblocks, because they might cut across to these other villages trying to sell the meat that they've already poached.
So what happens if we put the Argo guys and drop them off here?
Yeah?
Then I'll go back round and I'll set up with the other two guys over here.
No, that's a good idea.
The plan is to split up Craig's team of rangers and set them in place in ambushes along the paths we suspect the poachers are most likely to use. The hope is that one of the ambushes spots the gang en route to their camp. From there, it will be up to the members of Craig's team to track them to their exact site, where the evidence of poaching is unquestionable. It's a dangerous and highly difficult task. Should we fail, we'll alert the poachers to our presence and destroy the efforts of Craig's team. The wildlife here will continue to be destroyed. Failure is not an option.
There's a very well-known footpath coming in from the east here where we're going to set these guys up on ambush.
This is a potentially dangerous plan. My longtime friend and partner Livy has agreed to help. We hastily cut brush to camouflage our equipment from passers-by.
I think this should be fine here, Craig.
Yeah. No, definitely.
The guys are going to make themselves a little nest in here. Livy's gone off to just cut some leaves so that they can make a little bit of a screen. I don't want them to cut this side because they'll notice a cut branch and it might make them hesitate. Once these guys have laid down, we'll seal them in, and that's all we need. All that's going to be left is to see some poachers walking past.
Having set up the rangers in a prime location, Livy and I head further down the road to prepare an ambush of our own. The secret of preparing an ambush spot like this is not preparing a place where you can lay there for an hour or two. It's preparing a place where you truly are prepared to stay for 2 or 3 days and nights. The path we're watching is used by everyone in the surrounding villages, not only poachers. We settle in, and after some time, people begin to pass by. We look for any evidence of poaching activity. Traps, empty meat bags, loops of wire. And with our obscured vision, this is an ambitious task. Livy and I wait in silence as night falls.
You can feel the grass all around us dripping. We've been here now for 12 hours. Once it's gone dark, there's been very, very few people walking here.
As we approach the hour of the wolf, traffic becomes scarce.
And we know that they're moving at night through these areas. It's too dangerous for them to move in the day.
Suddenly, Livy and I hear a very distinct sound. Is this what we've been waiting for? My name is Ivan Carter. I'm in eastern Mozambique in Zambezi Delta Safaris area, where we're on the trail of a group of commercial meat poachers. Having sat for a full 24 hours watching a pathway thought to be used by the poachers, Livy and I are approaching the end of our watch.
Once it's gone dark, there's been very, very few people walking here.
Things have not gone well. We haven't identified a single poacher.
We know that they're moving at night through these areas. It's too dangerous for them to move in the day.
Suddenly, there's a familiar sound in the darkness. Could this be one of our poachers? We see no sign of wires on the back of the motorcycle, and we end our watch empty-handed. Livy and I emerge from our hideout the next morning, after a very long and uneventful night. Many villagers came past, but in the darkness, we couldn't positively identify any of them as being part of the poaching gang. It seems, however, that one of the other ambush sites has had a little more luck.
Finally, it looks like all of our work's going to pay off. It was a long night last night, though, at about 11 o'clock. One of the ambushers radioed in. They saw a guy going past on a bicycle with just one gin trap on the back.
And then again at about 3 o'clock, one of the other ambushes found 2 people, that's excellent news. It's bad news they're coming in, but it's excellent news for us. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. We've identified a rendezvous point which we're going to meet at, a place where we both think that these poachers are coming to. It's a place with water, it's a place where they often will gather in this thick bush. They'll probably camp for the day there, and then tonight they'll move again and come all the way deep into the area.
This all sounds easy in theory. Finding people who don't want to be found, however, is always tough. It's crucial we all work together. I meet Craig to formulate a plan.
Craig, how are you this morning, bud?
Thanks yourself, Ivan.
Good, man. Excellent.
Good.
So your guys saw them down this direction where that first and second ambush was, eh?
Yes, yeah, we're going to follow this river course. There are also a few puddles of water that we will look at, because that's where they'll be drinking.
And hopefully with the wind coming down here, we'll smell the fire if there is one.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to walk very, very quietly along this river here. There's a couple of game trails that follow this river. They're going to look for human sign on those game trails.
Normally, when camping, no matter who you are, you're looking for a place that's shaded and has access to fresh water. Based on what the rangers witnessed last night, somewhere along this stretch of river is where the poachers are most likely to be setting up camp. Now everything comes down to tracking, and to spotting them before they spot us. No easy task when you're up against the world's most intelligent mammal.
This is where there's a lot of dew on the grass. You can see how somebody's shoe has walked on the dew and then stuck the soil onto the top of this leaf.
The possibility that they could be armed only elevates the need for caution. In this case, the hunter could easily become the hunted. It's the most dangerous game there is.
Yes, they're bicycle tracks. These mongoose tracks here have been trodden on by the bicycle tracks. The mongooses are nocturnal, which suggests that the bicycle tracks are from very early this morning.
With these fresh tracks, the evidence is clear. We're getting close. Livy stops us. He's onto something.
Livy says he can smell fire.
Carter's War would like to thank the following people and organizations. Without their help, this program would not be possible.
My name is Ivan Carter. I'm in a remote part of eastern Mozambique, where we are very close behind a particularly ruthless gang of meat poachers. We've been on their trail for many days, and finally we are close, very close. Livy has just smelled smoke.
They've got no idea we're here. They're talking normally. Let me sneak in through here. I'm gonna find a way and get around them a little bit. So then you can rush them. I'll be on the other side. And hopefully the chopper's on standby. We can call them as you're ready. Just radio him and tell him to start coming.
It's easy to lose someone when the trap is sprung. The owner of Zambezi Delta Safaris, Mark Haldane, has been called in and is on standby with his helicopter, waiting for our call. With everyone clear on the plan, we split up and begin our approach.
We've given Ivan 10 minutes to go around. I think our best option is to wait here until he gets there. Then we're going to go around as well and try and catch these guys.
guys have got no idea. He's still talking, Anna. Yes. No. Send Livy back. He's gonna go and catch up with Craig. When Craig starts moving in, he's gonna radio for the helicopter, which hopefully will be what we need. I'm thinking as they jump them, if anybody does escape, they're gonna run out this way. By then, hopefully the helicopter will be here. And all we've got to do is wait. Is Arvin in this position? Okay, I think let's start easing around the side. Okay.
Everyone is in position. It's time to call in the air support. We signal the pilot and prepare ourselves. As soon as we hear the choppers approach, we'll spring our trap.
I'm a back one. Hey, yeah. Vanya. Good. Yeah. Good.
That was good, eh?
Hey, well done, man. Well done.
That's awesome. You were right on time, and we got the other two in there as well.
Get the other two inside too. Brilliant.
As the chopper pulls away, we head back to where the others are waiting. The poachers, who only moments ago were an unseen enemy, are now real, arrested and awaiting the next steps.
Masatan for Tibwe. We've all got a human side, and you can't look at this and not feel a drop of pity, but what's got to keep you motivated is just you've got to focus on the wildlife these guys are maiming and destroying. It's unbelievable. I mean, look at their bicycles. They've got traps on their bikes, full of wire snares. As little as these guys have, the damage to our wildlife is incredible.
The chase is over. These men will now be tried in a court of law and will face jail time if found guilty. This is a But with this capture, we've made a difference, not just to the wildlife that they would have killed today, but the wildlife that would have killed into the future. Our success here is a tribute to the dedicated team of people I've had the privilege of working with on this case. A tribute to the thousands of game guards, game scouts, rangers and conservationists across Africa who fight to protect our wildlife every single day. When you look into their eyes and you see the passion they have for their home, you realize, yes, there is hope.